Morning, Laura.
Good morning.
Here we are again, Wednesday,
I
Becky,
know.
and our invitation to chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
It feels like the last few weeks have gone really quickly.
yeah, I think there's ways that every day is feeling like, oh my gosh, is it not yet time for another coffee? To where's the week gone?
Yeah.
But we're here.
I know.
I mean, we identified that we've had the memo about uniform today, so
Yes, matching.
looking like proper vicars. How are you?
Yeah, I've been doing good actually. Been doing really good. So thankful for the weather over the weekend, I have to say. Just the sunshine makes such a difference. Jack and I did a really big walk all around the harbour, which was lovely. But I have to say, I don't mind the rain. I've kind of quite enjoyed looking out at some of the, our little rainy garden. It's quite nice. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a really interesting few days. I think I felt physically not very well for a few days. I had a cough, and you're suddenly think, oh, is this it? Is
Yeah.
virus? But I think emotionally quite fatigued as well, and then saw from a distance the Hannah and George and Pippa, and amazingly felt incredibly well after that. So I think just that acknowledgement of emotional fatigue can also affect our physical well-being. Well, certainly for me that's been the case, but
Yeah.
feeling really good today.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, I've been reflecting as well that sort of during this whole lockdown period and just sort of talking to family and to friends as well. I don't know about you, but it kind of feels like there's a lot of internal emotional stuff, that I'll call it, that's just kind of been coming up in this time. I think more than it does usually, and stuff that maybe I thought had kind of been dealt with or I hadn't thought about in a while has kind of come up, or just new things as well.
Yeah.
And so I think it's been quite an interesting week or so actually of for me realizing the kind of internal deeper stuff bubbling up to the surface, which has been interesting actually, and hard.
Yeah.
And hard.
Yeah, that really resonates with me. I think one of the things, particularly over this last week, that has been internal stuff is, well, what does it mean to be a vicar in this time and place? What is that call to be a priest? What does that look like? And I can't help but look at what others are doing and think, and my little internal saboteur has a little poke of, well, are you doing enough? Are you being seen enough? And just that coming back to, well, what is the first call that I feel I have as a priest? So there's been absolutely, I think there's something around this mirror of who we are, what's the stuff that's really good, but what's the stuff that's really challenging, and that internal reflection has been really paramount for me over the last week.
Yeah, and actually I would say really similar things have been coming up for me as well. Stuff sort of more like personally at home, like, oh, everybody's cleaning out their kitchen cupboards and washing down their skirting boards. Like, I should be doing that as well. And then there's also this flip side of like what it is to be like a curate and a vicar in this time of, oh, should I be starting this new amazing social action thing where I'm gathering everyone, and oh, maybe I should be doing this. And this morning I had this sense of like, the burden of expectation that I'm placing on myself, no one else is placing it on me, that I'm placing on myself, feels really high at the moment, of what I think I should be doing versus what I need, and versus kind of what feels right as well.
It's really interesting you say that. I was talking to a friend earlier in the week who has a similar issue. She's a mum with a young child at home, and she said, she's in one of these Facebook groups, and other parents in the group are saying, oh, how are you getting on with week 5's lesson plan? And she's like, I haven't even done week 1. Like, there is something, isn't there, around this burden of expectation that is like the outer world.
Yeah.
I realised that quite a lot of understanding who I am and what my call is relies a lot on external structures, on, you know, our weekly pattern of worship, our weekly pattern of meeting, the Sunday gathering experience, the PCC meetings, the committees, the relationship with the community, with the diocese. A lot of it is external structure, and so a lot of expectation of who I am and what I'm called to be relies on that. And when all of that external stuff is stripped away, we are left with time to reflect on the inner. And I guess that's both a challenge and a gift. I mean, what are your thoughts on what the gift of that might be?
Yeah, and yeah, I think so as well. And I think in terms of what I've seen is the gift is actually having the space to recognize some things that actually I don't think God wants me to live with, with a burden like I've just described, or other more personal things that have come up as well. And the gift has been that kind of space to be able to see it and recognize it. And in a way, as hard as it is having that outer stuff, when that's stripped away, you are just kind of left with yourself and how you feel and how you are interacting with the world. And actually, sometimes I can go through life not having the moment to actually self-reflect, which is so important for us all to do. Yeah. But to have that space to be able to do that, actually, that can be a real gift. And I've seen that as a real gift of, actually, this is just me and God. So what's it going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you were saying earlier about having that retreat experience over the weekend, of having that structured space to journey on that inner life. And I guess there's been moments for me of my daily quiet time or prayer or whatever anybody else might want to call it, of really feeling a going deeper with God. But I know that there's also a challenge for that, because we do all need accountability, don't we? We need that external voice or external body to help us not necessarily test, but see where God's truth is. So, for example, without an external voice, we were watching the Les Mis concert on Monday night. We were supposed to go to the Hippodrome to watch Les Miserables. Obviously, it couldn't happen, so we decided to watch the Les Mis Rocks, the video of the concert that was filmed last year. My inner voice, once I've seen musical theatre, has a real field day and says, do you know what? You could be in musical theatre and you could sing. So I watch Les Mis and think, I could be Fontaine. Like, I could sing that song. In a way, I'd be a bit like that X Factor contestant who's never sung in front of anybody else and goes out on the stage because my inner voice is telling me, you are an amazing singer, you should be in musical theatre. I'd get on that stage, I'd open my mouth, and then I'd know, and it'd be really painful. So there is something around needing external accountability. Yeah, you know, maybe not the Les Mis singer, because actually I think there is a truth in that. Not really, but there is that, you know, if it's just me and God all the time, and I can fill a journal with my reflections, where is the external accountability for where I think my journey with God is going? Yeah.
And I'm just reminded as well that so much of our Christian faith is actually what we're called to is the corporate, is the kind of being together as a body of Christ in whatever way that looks like, whether that's a really good moment or a really awkward or sad or angry moment, whatever that is, that we're called to be together, to live in community. And I guess when we live in that community, I'm just kind of reflecting on morning prayer that we usually would practice every Friday morning in church with a small group of people, or sometimes quite large. Yeah. But that kind of feels like we're sort of challenging each other and listening to each other and encouraging each other, and we're able to voice opinions and worries in the context of with other people. And when we were reflecting on this earlier, the verse, and I had to look it up, I didn't know this, but the verse from Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron, really came to mind. And it's that thing of, you know, when iron sharpens iron, produces, you know, this amazing sharp kind of object. And actually that we need that iron to sharpen us, to knock off the edges of us, to encourage us, to challenge us. And you're so right, it can be so dangerous to spend so much time looking on yourself and being very introspective and thinking about all the things that we need to sort out about ourselves and all the issues. And actually it's really hard in this time when there's not that outer perspective. And we were sort of reflecting as well on Sunday, we looked at the road to Emmaus, and in the going deeper as well, I wrote about that kind of difference between Jesus revealing himself in understanding and kind of talking with the disciples on the road about the scriptures, but then also he revealed himself in person, and they had this experience of him as he blessed and broke the bread. And so that kind of understanding and experience has to go together.
Yeah.
At the moment, I imagine, and I feel like this, but I wonder if anybody else is having a lot of that experience, that inner, on me, but the experience has to go with understanding. It has to come with the outer of, you know, of liturgy, of being with people, of corporate prayer, taking our eyes off ourselves to other things as well.
You're so right. And what's just come to mind is, you know, we speak a lot about knowing about Jesus and knowing Jesus, and it's both of those things. And again, you're right about this needing to be in a body, in a corporate, because we need the iron to sharpen iron, but we also need the body to build and encourage. You know, if you've got people who are just saying everything is amazing and brilliant and wonderful,
yeah,
how do you know that it really is? But equally, if you've got people who are just only ever criticizing, then how do you know when something really does need to be changed? There is a need to speak to each other in truth and love. And there's an amazing metaphor of this that one of our, Rosie Code, if you're watching, one of our amazing women said in the past, which is, you know, that question, does my bum look big in this? And what she would say is, if we speak in truth in love, we would say, well, yes, but it's still a beautiful bum.
I love that. I'll write that down somewhere.
And maybe that's the place to draw our conversation to a close. But it's been really good to spend time with whoever's watching, whoever's part of this. If it was just me, or if it was just Laura, then you might just get our inner thoughts. So it's good that the two of us are grappling together, and I just hope it gives you food for thought as well. You know, what's going on for you in your inner self? Where's the stuff that perhaps the saboteur is having a little poke, but where do you also need to hear God's blessing? And equally, where are those outer voices that can speak to you in truth and love?
Yeah,
we're offering this in truth in love, and sending love and blessing to you.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Laura.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Good to see everyone at home, and every blessing until we meet again.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of love, guys.
Bye.